I appreciate my colleague from Missouri with his remarks about how we need the other side to work with us. And that is so very true, because this administration, the Biden administration, has refused to drag themselves away from the political posturing and move toward actually governing and addressing the problems that the American people would like to see addressed. They have sent this economy into the gutter. Now think about it. A year ago, we had the best economy that we had had in decades. Unemployment for women, for African Americans, for Hispanics at an all-time low. Wage growth at an all-time high. Now the economy is in the gutter. Our southern border is now in shambles. The hearing we had yesterday with Secretary Mayorkas was so dissatisfying because he did not have facts and figures and answers. And we see a country that is incredibly divided. But at least the American people now know just how in denial the White House is about what it takes to be living in the real world. Their constant attempts to downplay the mess they've made have had the opposite effect, and now everyone knows just how out of touch they are with anyone who regularly pulls in at the gas station to fill up their own car or darkens the door of a grocery store to buy the groceries that they need. Yesterday, I came to the Senate floor and asked the question, what will it take for the Biden administration to take the threat of Chinese aggression seriously? The evidence is staring them in the face, and yet they refuse to acknowledge that there is a danger, that China is our adversary. Certainly, the president's phone call did not give us any comfort in knowing that he understands that they are an adversary. And today I have a similar question. What will it take for the Biden administration to take the American people seriously when they repeatedly warn us that the economy is in trouble? They are living the warning signs every single day. But try as they might to convince us otherwise, this administration's talking points are all about happy talk, better jobs numbers, and the pockets of growth. But this is not anything that is representative of the economy at large. Still, every policy that they've proposed this year assumes that the cost of inflation are a myth, that inflation is concocted by Republicans, that it is there, it's a talking point to scare American families. Madam President, how completely out of touch can this administration be? They're proving the point that they're elitist, that they live in a bubble. What they keep saying to people is, oh, you know, it's $1 here, it's $1 there, it doesn't really matter that much. But of course, it does matter. Anyone who has taken the time out of their life to rear a family, and any mother that gets up in the morning and she's trying to feed the kids and get them to school and shuttle kids into the minivan, and then she's off to work and then they're off to activities in the afternoon, she knows that pennies add up to dollars, which adds up to hundreds of dollars, and it goes quickly in a hurry. I talked to someone last weekend. They were talking about how a manageable trip to the grocery store now has the potential to just blow their budget. They're somebody who likes to use cash, not credit cards, and they put it all in envelopes, and they plan out their expenditures, and they are seeing firsthand what this budget is doing to their monthly budget for their family. And the sad thing is, This is all happening just in time for Thanksgiving, just in time for the Christmas holidays. But, you know, Madam President, you don't need to take my word for it. My colleagues don't need to take my word for it. Let's look at the Bureau of Labor Statistics to tell the story. Now, this is a federal bureau, and they keep this data. And their data is telling quite an interesting story. I have a poster here that actually shows you the percentage increase you're going to see. The Thanksgiving turkey will cost you 6.1% more this year than last. If you want to get a ham, that's going to be an extra 12%. If you're serving veggies with the turkey and ham, that's an extra 8.2%. The price of a cup of coffee for after dinner, that's up 5.7%. And the grand finale, that homemade apple pie, is up 4.1%. And I hope you weren't planning on driving out of town for your Thanksgiving dinner, because gas prices are up $1.23 a gallon since last October. Think about that. $1.23 a gallon. A gallon. Now, this is sticker shock. Every time you pull into the gas pump, it is sticker shock every time you go to the grocery store. And as you can see what it was last year, you're seeing these stickers on gas pumps all across Tennessee. Yes, the Biden administration, they can say, I did that. Decisions that the president has made, stopping the Keystone Pipeline, moving us from being energy independent and exporting oil to making us dependent on OPEC, of all things, so that we can drive our cars and heat our homes. It is outrageous. I would encourage President Biden and my Democratic colleagues to remember that when it comes to budgets and families managing their way through this inflation, they can't have it both ways. Back in January, they told congressional Republicans that their bipartisan bailout bill was the only thing standing between the average American family and financial ruin. Now, the very idea that pricing and spending power matters seems extremely unpopular with our friends on the left. Suddenly, they expect the American people to put on a brave face, to treat shortages like a minimalist trend, and to cut back where they can. You know what, Madam President? The American people don't want to live in austerity. The American people want to go to the grocery store and find the food that they need. It is stunning, the attitude of the left. It is stunning, the disregard that they have for average American families who are working hard every single day. Of course, people who are now struggling to make ends meet could stay home. They could stay right at home this holiday season. They could park the car, cook a small meal, and swallow their disappointment. But you know who won't be doing that this holiday season? President Joe Biden. You won't see him making sacrifices to sustain the narrative. I have a feeling I won't see many of my Democratic colleagues passing on Thanksgiving dinner to show solidarity with families who couldn't stretch their paycheck far enough for that Thanksgiving turkey. I would hope that something here in all of this data, remind you, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, that's where I'm getting the data. I'm hoping it would remind my friends across the aisle that this is not about proving a point. This is about the average American's growing inability to put food on their table. You may not have to worry about an extra $30 or $40 on the grocery bill, but most Tennesseans do worry about that. And for some people, spending more isn't even an option. It's time to adjust the priorities of the Democrats. It is time for this administration to adjust their priorities. It is time for them to meet the people where they are and not where they think that the people should be forced to go by their socialist agenda. I would encourage my colleagues, pay attention to what the people of this country are telling you. Govern accordingly. People are depending on it. I yield the floor.